This is the Horsepower Hour.
Hello, my friends. Hello, and thank you once again for tuning into the Horsepower Hour, the only podcast with a salvage title. Joining me, as always, is the amazing, the luxurious folks on video. Look at that beard that Coy has coming in. Holy smokes.
Yeah, I gotta get ready for winter. Winter's coming, even though it's still in the 90s here.
That is pure dad bod energy going on.
Like, people may think that, having your beard this grown out on September 1st is weird, but I just want to point out pumpkin spice stuff got released in August. Starbucks started selling theirs. So is it? It's fall, baby. It's time to grow a beard.
And as everybody knows, Coy is pumpkin sexual. So just so everybody knows, like, that's out in the open. We've actually had an unofficial pumpkin spice day here a few years back before the Rona hit. Speaking of Rona, looking fabulous and making his way through the world. Roy, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Roy is a good friend of ours, runs St. Anne Powder Coating, and just an all-around good guy, car guy. We love you. When I heard that you were going to be on this episode, I was just like, yes, that's what we need.
I'm totally honored, actually, to be able to come out and hang out with these two squares, and maybe we'll be able to make an octagon out of this thing.
We'll actually have our first decent show because you're here. Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. But we're here. We're going to talk about car things and talk about why all this is a problem.
Why drag racing is the way it is, and California
is the way it is.
Titanium and internationals. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the pumpkin spice thing. I'm just going to have to come out and be honest with this. I was really not a pumpkin spice fan until Coy really started to let me into his inner circle. And then it kind of made me just kind of turn a little bit, look for different avenues of exploration in my darker life.
Pumpkin spice is a lot like anal sex.
Yeah.
When it's forced upon you later on, you begin to like it,
Yeah,
sure.
the first time, yeah, I'd say it was great, but afterwards,
after a while, you kind of look forward to it.
Yeah, it's not, you can't rate the willing anymore.
It's like that Beatles song, and then I saw her ass and I was a believer.
Something like that.
I think that was the Monkees.
Oh, was that the Monkees?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the Monkees. Not
it was
pulling
one of those.
Wild card here.
Listen, they're both fake. I mean, let's list fake things in the world. The Beatles, they were a fake band. The Monkees, they were a fake band. The Moon Landing, that was fake. JFK, that was fake. So
I totally forgot this pre-show, Andy. I sent you a little TikTok video of Portland a couple days ago. I want to talk about on the show.
Ooh, yeah.
I wouldn't put it in. I wouldn't make you on the fly pull this up, but it needs to be talked about. People are giving us street racers a bad fucking rep, bro.
Yeah, it's just Portland in general. There's things happening in Oregon, just along the West Coast in general, that make you wonder, are you really on the right side of history if you're supporting any of these things? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just like to sit down with the news and be like, hey, look, I get street racing is illegal and not good. Compared to these street takeovers, stop using street racing. There's nothing about this.
Nobody's winning here, except for the lady getting nailed by a car. Now she's going to have some health care paid for. She's going to be able to hit the doctor because she hasn't been there in a while. Maybe find a meth pipe afterwards. Like, the benefits are just the hitters.
Oh, these street takeovers are straight drug fueled. Like, they have nothing to do with racing. Like, they're not even trying to hide from the cops. They're just like, there's more of us than there are of them. Let's get 400 cars here, block off this intersection, do cookies in it. The cops can't do a thing. It's like, that was half the fun, was hiding/running from cops with street racing, not just openly yelling, fuck you, and then firing my gun indiscriminately into the crowd. Like,
so I have to be honest with you, I have the video but I cannot open it. Facebook has already taken it down.
Oh, good.
No, wonderful.
Good. I'm
But
glad that it's been censored.
Here's the long and the short of it is it's some kind of a street takeover in Portland, and then someone in like a white
Transit van.
Yeah, decided that they needed to run through a crowd of people, and I don't know if anybody got hit or not. As a matter of fact, my entire, like, everything that has to do with Facebook, because I've got a couple of articles pulled up, they're all completely screwed. So maybe it's just me. Maybe the video is still up and I'm like banned for something like just now, right before we started the show, because anything is possible.
The algorithm got you.
And I'm not even sure if the guy transit van, as I kind of understood it, he was like trying to escape, because like people are getting shot at these things and stuff. Like they're going,
People get ripped out of cars.
yeah,
Like,
no,
it's terrible.
it's like if someone took drifting, or not even drifting, did like a burnout contest mixed with the Portland riots, and then just popped them up indiscriminately in the Portland metro area. And the news are like, these damn street racers. Meanwhile, the street racers are out in some wildlife refuge or industrial district, secretly, quietly as possible, pulling out grudge match quarter-mile runs. And we're all like, hey, motherfucker, that has nothing to do with the illegal shit I'm doing. Like, this is like if your friendly weed dealer in town is being confused with the guy that's selling the rainbow fentanyl. Like, we are nothing alike. That kills people if they look at it. I'm just selling a little weed on the side over here. Like, what I'm doing is it's probably legal if I had the right lawyer.
Aunt Susan is just trying to make the house payment, okay?
Yeah.
By selling a little bit of weed on the side.
Yeah, I'm growing 2 plants for me and 2 for my cousin with cancerous glaucoma pockets. I'm not a doctor, whatever. In his liver. He has liver glaucoma. And so I grow through 2 for him, and you're like, wow, bro. You know that this rainbow fentanyl, if you touch it, it'll absorb through your skin and kill you. And you're like, what? That's not drugs, that's poison. This is just a little plant over here. Like, I'm just trying to have a nice time after dinner. Not ruin someone's life.
Kills a neighborhood.
Yeah. If you drop your bag near an AC unit, you can take out an office building. Oh, I heard something,
There
Andy.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
any
sorry.
audio.
My Facebook is completely screwed. I have no idea what's happening, but it looks like I got the video up. So let's take a look at this. The caption reads, Portland getting retarded, and it's the truth. I don't even know what's going on there. I mean, there's gunshots, there's people, there's this van like driving backwards and forwards trying to hit people, more gunshots. Now they're hiding behind cars because there must just be gunshots indiscriminately.
It's not gunshots, it's clapping, you know.
Oh, clapping. Yeah,
Out of a 9mm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you care to explain? I mean, do you have any thoughts? What's going on?
The last one of these in Portland, there was a bunch of shooting, and I think that video was from the last one. A 20-year-old dude is dead, and like a couple other people are injured. Like, they also have been shot. This is some Detroit, like Chicago style stuff going on, and I have no idea why. And I also like to point out, did any of the cars in that video look like they were street racers?
No, I mean, you had the one Ram pickup, but we don't know if that was an SRT or not. It had SRT wheels, but you know, who knows? But the rest of the cars were just cars. There was a semi truck in there.
Yeah, I wish the news would stop saying street racers. Like, they used to say street racers a lot and kind of give a bad rep when it was just a dude doing like 150 down the highway, and they'd call him a street racer and be like, hey, that's just a dude doing 150. You don't have to be anybody can do that. You don't even have to be a street racer like normal people do 150, you know, a couple times in their life.
You can buy a Honda Accord and do 150 now.
Yeah, anybody can do 150. They try hard and believe in themselves.
Mhm.
But it's like
Mhm.
Well,
this.
Jeep owners.
Yeah,
Jeep
well-
owners will never do that.
Well, it depends on forearm strength, how hard they can grip the wheel. If they have veins that pop out of their arm, they might. But
Turn that death wobble into success wobble.
It's kind of like carving on a longboard. You know how you can get more speed by carving? Maybe that's what Jeeps do to get faster
well,
up
I
on the
think
highway.
that you ever had a tire out of balance and it only vibrates from like 40 to 55. So
Yeah.
if you do 65, it's fine. I think death wobble, it would just make sense that wobbles from like 55 to 75. You hit like 90 to 150, straightens back out. It's when you're coming back down, you start dropping under 90. It probably gets scary.
A wise
I'm pretty
man
sure-
once told me to hit it at 100.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure that's what the early astronauts said too. They were like, while we're going through the atmosphere, this thing is a bitch and a half. But once we clear, then she smooths right out.
Floor it till it sounds expensive. That's what John Shepard said. So
Aaron Samuelson says, embrace the Jeep hate.
it's not hate, it's disdain. Hate would assume that I think about it a lot. Like this is just normal disdain, just like, probably how British people think of America, just like, ew, the colonists have got away. They're over there shooting each other and having street takeovers. I'm gonna eat a dry biscuit and call it a scone. Have
So,
my
wait,
tea hot.
at this point, do you feel like your disdain of Jeeps is on par with the disdain you used to have for the drifting community?
Used to have.
Well, okay, but like,
Come on, it's
I
not
mean,
racing though.
we're
Seriously.
comparing, go back 10 years. You remember how shitty like the drift scene was in Oregon?
Well, I mean, one is, figure skating on rubber. So at least there's some skill involved, although it attracts the douches of douches. But where's Jeeps on the other hand? It's like,
It starts with the douchiest of douches.
you know what Jeeps are?
Hmm.
You know how there's Legos, which everybody loves Legos. And then we got Mega Blocks, the knockoff Lego.
Mhm.
Jeeps are Mega Blocks. It's like, it works with all the other 4x4s. Like they're the same. We're like, yeah, but ours are the real thing and they're reliable. And they're like, well, technically ours was made first. It's like, was it though? Like, I wasn't really the same. It's been sold like to 9 different companies since then. So I don't know if we really still say it's the same. They're like, no, and ours is better. Like, see, it comes with stickers, and you're like, ooh, yeah, yours poisons children and choking and stuff. They made movies after ours. Yours is just Jeeps are Mega Blocks.
Dang, bro, that is
More
some
you know.
deep. That is some deep Jeep shade. Wow.
If
I
you
can't
can't
believe
make enough power to hurt yourself, is it really that bad? All in all,
Yeah. Well,
that's why they're reliable.
Roy, I'm going to let you know right now. Coy is a natural born hater. He's never not been a natural born hater. So the things he's saying about Jeep right now, he has said about the drift community for a long, long time. And I actually have an example of it right here. This just popped up in my memories, and I cannot skip over this. Like I have to remind people that this is a thing that happened. Coy, what are we looking at here?
So I'm not going to say the names, but in a group called the Anti-Drift Tax Northwest Buy Sell Trade, this was not 12 hours ago. I don't know what year this was. This is many years ago.
I
Somebody
think it
said,
was 8 years ago.
want to trade my Corvette for something that's 2-door manual rear-wheel drive. All details are in my Craigslist post. And then he posts
Oh, I missed
his
Craigslist
Craigslist
posts.
post. It was a yellow, I think it was like a 91 or 89 Vet automatic in
Yeah, it was not
orange
good.
condition.
Hey, let's try doing a little bit of like a dramatic reading here. Roy, would you do me a favor? Whenever you see this name right here, he shall remain nameless, but when you see this name, would you read what he puts, please?
Starts with a berry and ends with something else.
Yeah, that's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play myself and a few other people. Coy is gonna play himself, and we're gonna see how this goes. Okay.
So on this post, first comment, myself, straight across ? And then I put a picture of a light blue Ford Festiva that's on wheels and looks okay.
Wow, Coy, would you really get rid of the Festiata, the world's first cross of a Festiva and a Miata? I thought that was your baby.
time for a change, bro. I'm just getting out of drifting and shitty imports and back into the classic car scene.
But you just finished the SR swap with an S15 6-speed. Wish I had the money to just buy it from you.
Scroll down a little. Our next post. The drift game is just too full of posers these days. I wish I could sell, then I might not lose so much money on the dry sump setup, but I keep trying to get Dustin to buy the whole thing from me.
I'll think about that.
Have all the stuff to do a BMW V12 swap because LS swaps are just getting overrated.
Everybody's doing them. It's like people have no originality anymore.
I'm thinking I might just have to move to Iceland and have to give this shit away. The drift game over there is ratchet as fuck.
Excuse me. What is in the Festiva?
You're looking for a drift car? I can take it then.
Devin wrote in it a couple times. He said it was the hardest pulling and best sounding SR that he's ever been around.
That's a sleeper for sure.
And then Devin said it accelerates like an LS7 in a drag chassis. By far the best running SR in Oregon, hands down. And then someone else says that's dope.
That is a unique ass whip, but Oregon is too far to travel.
And then I say,
pause on this. Look at the type of language we were using back just 8 years ago. I mean, I'm reading this stuff, and this isn't just this post, by the way. This is like all of the Facebook memories that come up. And even me, like I'm seeing some of the things I was saying, and I was like, that was a whole different world. Like language has changed so much in the last 5 years, 10 years. It bumps me every time I read stuff like this because I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like a whole other world.
Emoji either.
Oh yeah, no emojis, no heart reacts, no nothing like that.
Oh, there'd be so many puke reacts if that was Then I say, if you're interested in it for drifting, I strongly recommend that you get a Hans device. It's just too hard on your neck. And if you're going to street drive it much, you should get a tune that doesn't have the anti-lag on it like it does now. I'm willing to meet halfway.
Oh my God.
What's the numbers it's putting down? Anything done to the suspension to stiffen it up?
The suspension is Megan Race custom 42-way adjustables, and the motor with low boost anti-lag tune, as it sits now, is at a conservative 450 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque, 9,000 RPM redline. I know those numbers are low for the mods, but I had the weight of the car down to 1,250 pounds with the FC half cage.
Do you even know what you were referencing right there?
It was supposed to, I think it was supposed to be CF because carbon fiber half cage. Yeah.
I thought we were going full drag here.
Nah.
Oh my goodness.
What is all done to the engine? What is the ultimate sleeper? That is the ultimate sleeper. The more I think about it, I'm starting to want it. Bump.
Yeah, then I didn't reply for a while. Once I saw him buy it, I stopped replying for an hour, and then he bumped it. And I said, it has June internals, tow to dry sump. I have a buddy that is a mechanical engineer for an IndyCar team, and there are a lot of custom parts. Roller barrel ITBs and the carbon fiber half cage are all his work. Motec ETU, Turbonetics T3, T4, ceramic anti-lag turbo. And then I said, Alex Pacavaris helped with the build.
You gotta, okay. So at this point, I mean, this is pretty obvious. I mean,
every time I'm saying someone's name, it's a tag and I'm pulling them into my con. I'm grifting and just pulling more in.
And then I'm thinking to myself, this guy's got to be in on it by this point. And so I say, I would literally eat a bag of salted dicks for this car. Good luck with sale. So let's skip ahead a little bit. Coy, you continue to kind of string him along. And at this point, by the way, everybody, we're in like private chat and we're just like, this can't be real. Like this dude can't actually be buying into this. Right. So Roy, go ahead and pick it up from here.
Man, I really never thought I'd ever say a Fiesta sounds really tempting. Oh.
And I said, I never thought that you would say that either.
You got instant messenger? I sent a message asking for a few more pics of the car.
So then Coy posts a photo of my old Turbo Festiva, which is the most, you want to talk about ratchet.
Good God.
Intercoolers hanging out the front, a headlight's missing where the turbo used to be.
It looks
And
like you ate a
then-
deer.
Looks like I ate a deer. What was the deer
Yeah.
made of? Like HKS
Well, just like
engineered?
you ate a deer, and then you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna go down to Bertram's Metal and just like pick up a bunch of random scrap here.
Oh yeah, that's, you know what, I'd buy that. That's true.
All right.
That's true. That's a good point. So Coy, then you post, you say that was the beginnings of the car, and then you post a photo of literally Jay Leno's
Wide body.
Festiva SHO,
And
this
also a
stupid
picture of it
asshole-
in Jay Leno's garage. Like
Yes.
in garage with his other cars. Two of them are in Jay Leno's shop.
There's a Stanley steamer in the background.
Yes. You
Like one car away.
can literally tell that this is a warehouse stuffed with cars.
Holy shit, looks way better now.
It needs those huge meats. The dinky tires that were on it before just instantly turned to smoke and fire. And actually, hey, our friend Jared got in on it. This was cool. He says LSs are overrated, says the guy with an SR20. And then Coy, you say,
That's why I was planning the BMW V12 swap.
Coy, where are you located? I know in Oregon. And where would you be willing to meet that?
And then I say,
in the AT. Ooh.
this has been going on for a while, and we've been dropping hints that it's not real. And I said, are you for reals? Question mark.
Down a little bit. Nope. Oh,
Right there.
sorry.
No, that's it right there.
Oh, yeah, I want to check it out. You have pics of the engine bay and proof of the build or a dyno sheet?
And I want to point out, this is a trade for 89 Corvette automatic. He wants proof of build. And then I said, I thought that this was clear, that I was joking, man. I don't have a Festiva. I also don't have a buddy that is a mechanical engineer for an IndyCar team. And the pics of this car are clearly from Jay Leno's garage. And then I have a meme that is Morpheus. What if I told you there is no spoon?
And then I had to come in before the whole thing got locked, or I think he deleted it. As a matter of fact, I didn't catch it in my screen grabs, but he replied something like, "Great, you fuckers think you got me real good, don't you?" And then he just deleted the entire thread.
It's just so you know, like, as this was happening, multiple people were messaging me, people that I was not friends with, like, bro, this is the most epic troll I've ever seen in my life. Like, just randoms. And I'm like, thanks, bro. I know he's making it easy.
Stupid people always do. And that's a microcosm of what like organ drifting was back then. I'm not trying to shit on people that do it now or whatever, but holy smokes, you had, and like Coy said, it was the most clapped out crap trap of a Corvette. I mean, it was nothing. It was literally the kind of Corvette that 8 years ago would have been worth $2,500. And this dude legit thought he was going to be trading it for a $450 or a 450 horsepower, like custom built drift machine. I don't know. Just when you look back at stuff like that and you just think, what were we doing back then? You know, that was before 240SXs went through the roof. That was before Miata started getting drift taxed to hell. That was before the Fast and the Furious, Coy 4 through 9.
I mean, what was I doing? I had an S2000 that I sold for half of what it would be worth today. Like, I sold my S for like $7,500, like 9 years ago.
But hey, you know, sometimes you got to sell. Roy,
That's what it was worth.
when's the last time you thought to yourself, if I had just held on to that car for another 10 years, I had only had it for a couple of years, but if I just held on to it for 10 more years, it'd be worth something.
Well, the fact that I have basically a car farm out of a discrete piece of property. I haven't really thought of that too much, but there was once a golf cart, so yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw an uptick. Missed the boat on that one, boys. Sorry.
Yeah.
The damn golf carts. No, I don't. The only car that I wish that I still had would have been the Civic, the original EF that I had. So, man.
Well, somebody did a really, really good job with one of their cars that they held on to for much longer than they probably should have. Go, you remember about 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Princess Diana's Escort RS was going up for auction. You remember that?
Oh, did you follow up on that?
I did follow up on that. I don't actually remember what we said that it was going to sell for. I think you said 250,000, right?
That's what I had in my mind with 250.
And I think I landed at like 180 or 190. I didn't think it would break 200,000. Drum roll, please. Are you ready to hear what this thing went for?
I'm ready.
Let's go ahead and get the image pulled up here. So just so everybody remembers what we're talking about, here's Princess Di getting out of her car. And don't get me wrong, I mean, this is a highly customized vehicle from Ford. They were originally available only in white. This one was painted black. It had some graphics, immaculately maintained. I mean, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous car. However, when it went up for auction, sorry, Roy.
It really does. The car looks fantastic. I mean, for
yeah.
the time period, super cool, kind of oddball, but it looks fantastic. And you have a celebrity tax to it.
Well, you haven't seen this article yet, right, Roy?
No.
So just off the top of your head, what do you figure this sold for at auction?
This is Princess Diane's Turbo Escort.
Oh, so, oh man, there's
don't put too much thought into it. Don't put too
I
much
don't know.
thought.
I'm gonna just post it a 225.
225.
Yeah.
$842,207.
Wow.
That's astronomical.
I know. I knew it was going to go for a lot, and I felt like my $250,000 estimate was maybe even a touch high, but this bothers me for multiple reasons. One, that someone is so into Princess Diane and cars that they would pay $800,000. Like, can you imagine the kind of car you can get for $800,000? Like that's a pretty incredible car that you can get for that kind of money.
I know it's McLaren money. It's
territory. Yeah.
It's Koenigsegg if you find a used one.
I mean, even used supercars and stuff. Like this is like crazy old,
What's
celebrity.
The 458 Ferrari pull anymore? Like not that much. I still see kids at Oregon State University driving it. So,
but I'm just saying you could get like, I don't know, some Arnold Schwarzenegger's old Ferrari or something for this kind of money.
Yeah.
Like something that like, this is Princess Diane's. And I said this when we were kind of going on about the price. I don't even know that a car guy got this. It's just, they think we might have a recession coming, and these are things you can pile money into that you can get back out of.
Yeah. No, these are not NFTs. These are FTs.
Yes, these are tangible.
Yeah. These are fungible
assets. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was just someone with a bunch of money. Just like, boom, my money's now this black car.
I mean, somebody's willing to pay it because they did pay it, but $842,000. I'm shocked. I think everybody's shocked, quite frankly. Like I didn't watch the live stream from the Silverstone auction or anything like that. So, I mean, who knows how the bidding war went, but $842,000.
Well, and you got to remember, there's probably a 10% auction fee, maybe more.
Oh, right.
So he didn't pay 800. He paid probably close to 900 all said and done here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Mid 900s. I mean, can we please just call it $1 million? Because by the time you're out the door, you're going to be that close.
By the time this gets shipped back in a sealed container with and it's $800,000 worth of insurance and all that, he's at $1 million getting this back to his collection.
And plus in Britain, especially, they have that VAT tax. I don't know enough about it to really speak on it, but it's value.
It's a sales tax, basically.
It is, but it also fluctuates. It's like a value asset tax or something like that. Like it fluctuates with what the market is doing. And I can't even begin to imagine $1 million. That blows my mind.
Have they said who bought this?
No, they've remained anonymous.
I'm going to throw this out there. If Jay Leno likes weird Fords, he has the world's biggest car collection and is rich. Could it be possible that he wanted this for? Like, would your mind be totally blown if I was like, yeah, Jay Leno paid $800 for it? He likes these weird escorts. He loves Festivas. Would you be?
But stereotypically, Jay's more of a buyer when it's low kind of attitude, because he does talk about the fact that he buys at a reasonable rate and then has a collectible car, and he's not in it for the money, but he's in it for the collectability of it, the odd rarity.
What's more collectible and more odd rarity than Princess Diane's
You're right.
one of one Ford Escort Turbo bullshit Cosworth thing?
Now, I'm sure I can't do a Jay Leno impression, but I'm going to go ahead and try. Welcome, everybody, back to Jay Leno's Garage. I got a special unit here. Just picked it up from the UK. This is Princess Diana's Escort RS. Hasn't been driven much. It's in beautiful condition. It's gorgeous. It's only got 12,000 miles on it. Let's pull it outside and see if it'll still do a burnout.
You need a cup of tea with that, too.
Then the 33-year-old bomb inside of it explodes.
The Queen's like, oh, blimey. Oops.
I thought we deactivated that. MI6? Yours? Bloody hell.
It just in time, too. Jim Clack is joining. Hey, guys. Good to see you, Jim. Speaking of people that have way more money than they should, this is the most outrageous thing I think I've heard in a long time, especially considering we're literally going into some economists are calling it either a recession or depression. They haven't decided which it is, but somebody out there still has some big money, or at least that's what MGM Resorts is trying to bank on. So Las Vegas is going to be getting Formula One out to their track this year. MGM and several other hotel casinos have been purchasing tickets, been purchasing experiences, like the experiences with the
just quick correction. This year they'll be at the track. Next year will be Streets of Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. So this is for 2023.
This is
excuse me.
The strip front.
Yes, this will be the race that's like Streets of Long Beach, but in Vegas. So this year's is on track, and it's already they already raced there for 2022, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like the third race. So this will be 2023. This will be next year's on the streets of Las Vegas. And I gotta say, it was super cool. And I actually talked with a buddy of mine and my wife, and was like, this kind of first time, this is kind of a cool thing. Like, this could be my vacation for the year. Like, I'd pay some money, and by some money, I mean, if I had to pay $1,000 for a hotel room, like, pretty iconic thing. Be cool to look back on and be like, hey, here's a picture of me when they used to race those petroleum powered airplanes that stuck to the ground through Las Vegas. And then my grandkids' heads are just exploding like me looking at Amelia Earhart's plane or something.
Mm-hmm. That is if their haptic feedback suits aren't just like jerking them off 24/7.
Well, no, I'm showing them. I've downloaded this picture to the metaverse and I'm showing it to them.
Yeah.
Come on, we're all in the metaverse together now.
Well, I mean, Coy, $1,000 for the experience, that'd be great. But
I
Roy,
figured I have to pay for tickets separately.
What do you think? I mean, they're talking about these ticket packages going upwards of $100,000. How's that for a family vacation?
I believe I've heard that it'll be about $1,000 for a regular entry ticket.
I expect it to be a couple $100. Honestly.
Oh, really?
That's what I originally expected. F1's big, but it's like not NASCAR big. And I mean,
but we're in Vegas. We're on the strip, per se.
I didn't realize F1 is that big in America. I mean, I know they have 3 races here. Ooh,
but it's a silent following that you're always having.
I'm not silent about it.
No, we know
all
that.
the time. What the fuck you guys are talking about?
They're really trying to bank on Formula One right now. I mean, they're really trying to bank on it. You remember when we had Scott Geiger on the show, and he's very entrenched with the IndyCar teams and obviously lives right by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And he was a real wealth of knowledge. And I found it really interesting when he was bringing up that a lot of the racers and a lot of the CEOs of racing teams in Indy are like, hey, if you're letting Formula One come over here and take over stuff, we need to start promoting ourselves in Europe. And I thought that was an interesting take. And I don't know, like if they're selling these ticket packages, especially for next year, because we don't know what the economy is going to do for next year. Maybe we'll rebound and everybody's going to be rich. I don't know. But this whole concept of some of these hotels that are right on the strip, knowing that the race is going to be going right past them, buying up all of these tickets and experience packages. Matter of fact, this article from MSN is probably the only thing I'll ever believe from MSN, by the way, says the MGM, just the MGM Grand, no other casino hotel on the strip, is expected to pay $20 to $25 million for tickets and experience packages. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. But
So
I have no doubt that they're expensive. Oh,
it
sorry.
makes me think tickets are going to be more than $1,000 a piece.
And so they're buying them from F1 for event.
But I'm
And
assuming
they will
F1's
redistribute.
still selling some as, or probably a lot as well. So
Well,
the
they have to have
1,000,
general admission.
what?
They have to have general admission.
Yeah, but they're,
itself.
I mean, if you buy a package, you get a ticket, but they're sell MGM's 20, 25 million. Start doing the math at $1,000, you know, and if you say you get the basic package, so you get a $5,000 hotel bill. So you're into it. Like, I think minimum's going to be several grand on these tickets, maybe.
How many hotel rooms actually sit where it's going to be visible? I mean, those are premium, not just selling the hotel, but what is the like actual roadside visible spot?
You know what would be like an insane power move? To be watching it live on TV when it's happening out your window. We all know, like,
that's a sports box, right?
yeah,
there.
but F1 really is better on TV. You get better views.
Absolutely.
And you could just be like on FaceTime with somebody, like, oh, what are you doing? Watching the F1 race, and it's kind of show the TV, and then they're like, man, you have it really loud. And you're like, no, I have the window open.
Yeah.
They're turned. They're over there. I'm here at the race. I'm on the third floor, but I mean, I can see them from here.
Jake Jaden's in the comments. He brings up a good point. For that kind of money, you could just rent a helicopter and watch it from the air. I mean, he's not wrong.
I guarantee you would pay airspace tax on that.
Well,
It's
yeah, that's
totally
true.
restricted airspace on that.
Oh, you could get that one.
But you'd be the biggest baller to get shot out of the sky from like some.
Oh, we
F-22.
hired that one government operator contractor that had the helicopters hovering over Vegas during the
The shooting, yeah.
the mass shooting, you know, at the concert. We get those guys we hire one of their choppers.
Well, they
clearly
found a
they're
way
allowed
to
to
turn. Well, yeah, they turned off their black box recorders. So, I mean, obviously, if we hired those guys, they'd be able to. I think they're probably going to be a little bit more expensive than you want.
Sure, more than $100,000, Andy? I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm not actually asking them to throw the race. Like, I'm not saying take out the lead driver or anything.
Take out Hamilton right now.
I'm sure that they have the capacity to, but
when Coy does things, by the way, like when the government does it, it's called black budget. When Coy does it, it's called brown budget.
I think when I do it, they call it terrorism. But yeah.
Oh, and just rolling it back for 1 second. So I actually have experience with this. You know, I was at IndyCar of Portland here a couple of years ago before the COOF, and well, before my car accident and everything else. But I spent 2 days at the track, the practice day and then the race day, and it really, I mean, you're 100% right. Like I was right there in the pits watching the cars go by, but you're only seeing them just for that short little period of time. And as cool as that is, and it was fucking cool every time they went flying by, especially at the start and any restarts, you know, under yellow flag or anything. It was awesome being right there. The rumble's crazy, the noise is crazy, it's the coolest thing. But then once they're past, your head's on a swivel, you're looking for a TV because you don't know what's happening on the rest of the track. You're only seeing them for 3 or 4 seconds as they go by. So you're right, like these, if you have a hotel room where you can look down on the streets of Las Vegas to see them going by, you're still going to need to have a TV on, right?
I would. That's how I do it. I'd have my charcuterie board out. I'd be watching it out the window and on the TV. It would be amazing.
I heard a story from an old timer that used to go to the IndyCar races, and they'd be sitting in the grandstands, and I don't know what turn, because unfortunately I've never really gone to PIR for anything, but they would sit there with their glasses of beer, and back then they were only a couple bucks, but they all bitched about them because can of chew cost 50 cents, and it would have so much rubber in it after like 4 or 5 laps that you'd just be drinking rubber instead of like ice in the bottom of your cup. It's just rubber, and you'd have to scoop the floaties off the top to drink your Coors Light and then to go back. And it just had that rubber permeation. And they'd go home, you take a shower, and it would just be rubber, black rubber on your skin like dirt, you know,
Yep.
and you're out in the desert for like a week. That's an amazing experience, and I wish I could have totally done that. But
You can still do one real similar to that. The people call me an idiot, but they don't stop you. So that's on the race officiants. When they do the jet cars, you can get within like 50 feet behind the jet car and they're totally fine with it. Unburned raw fuel will be smashing into you, plus hurricane gale force winds. Plus all the rubber on the track is being shot at you with a giant leaf blower flamethrower setup. And it's really similar to what you're just talking about, Roy.
okay,
It's more self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Like, which I feel like is more manly. It's like choking yourself. Like you stand there and lean into the power of this 3-second jet car. They're just sitting in the stands. You know what I mean?
okay, yeah. So me working in top alcohol, when we're at the line with funny cars, and that alcohol kind of gives you that burning eye. You step into fuel, injected nitro, and then it's like, oh, that's the my lungs are flooding. And then you get into top fuel and you just get the everything all at once, and you are going to die because there's zero oxygen anymore.
Yeah, I never thought that I would see Coy being able to compare himself to David Carradine, but you know, there it is. Mobile Moto, by the way, is in the comments. He says, I went to the F1 race at Indy twice and was at the end of the main straight between turns 1 and 4, and the rest of the time you're watching the monitor on the other side of the track. So, I mean, yes, this is a pretty universal experience that we've had. Mobile Moto also says, Hosers, I thought you guys called it quits. I want to talk about that for a second, because we haven't done an episode in a couple of weeks, and there's a very good reason for that. So 2 weeks ago, I had surgery on my foot. This is the same surgery that I had on my right foot. This one was on my left foot. So I was like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'm down for the count for a few days, blah, blah, whatever. Yeah, no, everything went very sideways with this whole thing. This is not automotive related, but it is my clutch foot. So let's talk about it a little bit. So does everybody here know what a nerve block is?
Yeah.
They give you this injection and it basically deadens that nerve.
Yeah, or the red pill,
it's that
right?
cream that you put on the underside of your. No.
Sorry,
yeah,
that's oral gel, I thought, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the numbing cream that you use, Coy. This is different.
Oh, I thought it was pure romance stuff my wife brought home. But
yeah.
That comes with the Great American Challenge.
Zestra. I'm just gonna say that. Go ahead and look it up on Amazon, folks. It's real. It works. So I come out of surgery like I'm waking up from anesthesia, and the first words out of my mouth are, holy fuck, this hurts a lot. Why am I in so much pain? Oh my God, this is way too much. Why am I in so much pain? And the doctor comes running over and he's like, hey man, you okay? And I'm like, no, I can feel everything. This guy takes his thumb and his forefinger and grabs my big toe and like grabs it and kind of pulls it down. And he goes, can you feel that? And I'm like, yes, I can feel that. And he's going, oh, well, you shouldn't feel that. That's weird. So they give me a Vicodin and send me home, which starts 10 days of the worst pain I think I've ever experienced in my life. They filleted my foot open. They had to shorten one of the bones in my foot because it had been broken when I was a kid and then grew weird. Coy, you know, you had the same thing in your forearm. So I'm not like a hard marijuana user, not by any stretch of the imagination. I use it once in a while to like help me sleep. And, you know, in my opinion, it's a more natural way to go to sleep instead of taking meloxicam and cyclobenzaprine and, methocarbamol and you know all the other stuff. Like I would prefer to have something that's a little bit more plant-based. So I do use that. I buy maybe 6 to 8 weeks worth at a time because it's just so, you know, stuff is so potent these days. And I don't smoke. I only use edibles because I'm not trying to like fill my lungs with the shit or anything. I blew through my entire 6-week supply, quote unquote. You can call it a supply, in 5 days because I was in so much pain, and they only give you just a little bit of pain medication because they don't want you getting addicted to anything. And so, yeah, it's been like 2 weeks where this is literally the most lucid I've been. The last couple of days is the most lucid I've been. I'm still not weight bearing on my foot. It's going to be another month using this little scooter, knee scooter. I'm sure you guys have seen those before because we're all around the same age. As a matter of fact, I binned my knee scooter 2 nights ago. Coy, you're going to love this. I'm medicated. Not as heavily medicated as I normally would be. That's the only reason why I woke up. I woke up at like 1 a.m. Had to pee because I'm drinking tons and tons of water. That's what you're supposed to do after surgery. I'm wheeling myself into the bathroom, and these knee scooters, they'll turn, the steering will turn 90 degrees for ultimate mobility. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm wheeling into my bathroom, and the toilet's in its own little like cubby, right? So I turn the handlebars 90 degrees to start wheeling into that little cubby. The wheels come to a dead stop on the bath mat that's right in front of the toilet. And you can imagine what happened to me. My big fat ass went ass over tits straight over the handlebars, fell between the toilet and the wall, and landed on top of the scooter. And by the way, this is not my scooter. This is a loaner. One of Corey Ann's coworkers gave this to me to use just for the interim. There's a little basket on the front. Crushed that son of a bitch down. It looked like a beer can that I had jumped on. Crushed it down to nothing. Corey Ann comes running in. It's 1 a.m., as I said. And again, like I was half asleep. I'm basically waking up as I'm falling onto my toilet. Okay.
Please tell me you put an arm inside the toilet.
Hey man, no,
At
I
least
always keep the
Christine.
lid down.
Did you rip the toilet paper holder off the cabinet or wall?
No, I didn't rip anything off. I scraped my arm up a little bit, but nothing else was bad. Miraculously. Listen, I'm on loads of pain meds. It's the middle of the night. The only reason why I'm up is because I have to pee. Miraculously, I didn't piss in my pants. Because keep in mind, now I'm on the floor. She's trying to help me up. I still have to piss like a fucking racehorse. I'm carrying 1.5 gallons inside of me. And so she's like, oh my gosh, we have to get you up and make sure you're okay. And I'm like, no, I get the toilet seat up now. Like I've got to piss so bad. You don't even understand. And so the next day the wheels of this scooter were all bent to shit. And of course
You totaled a knee scooter.
I totaled a knee scooter, dude.
That's like your mom joke. You're such a bad driver. You totaled a knee scooter.
But I did. I totaled the knee scooter. And so I spent the better part of the next day trying to get everything back. Like I got my toolbox out. I had to realign the front wheels. Hopefully the gal that loaned this to us doesn't listen to the podcast because it's still a little bit fucked. I could only get it so close, but it's still, the front wheels have a little more toe out than they should. And
no high-speed travel in the future for this thing. Like really?
No.
You know,
Yeah,
toe out's good for turn in, bro. That's what we used to say in autocross.
Oh, she's very responsive now.
And technically, you just gave it like a Walmart alignment shop tune-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
You got a second job now, bud.
Yeah, measure of strength.
Yeah. So anyways, that was a very long-winded explanation of why we haven't been on the air for the last couple of weeks, because I've been whacked out of my gourd after surgery. But had my follow-up today, by the way. Everything's fine. He took x-rays of my foot. The pins are holding. And he's like, hey, man, you're doing great. You've only got like 3 more weeks of being on crutches. And yeah, I was super excited to hear that. But hey, it's all smoothing out. It is what it is. I've been walking with foot pain for a long time. So, you know, we're getting it all cleared up. It's going to be fine, but that's why we were gone for a bit. Now, what does the peanut gallery have to say? I'm waiting for the jokes.
Oh, there's
Go ahead,
all
roast
the
me.
jokes. Roast me.
Bath mats.
Bath mats are the #1 killer of women 75 to 100. I would argue,
you bastard.
They are outlawed in most nursing homes.
I would argue that time would be the #1 killer in that age, but whatever. Did you make the toilet porcelain ring? Can you make it ring? Like, I mean, or do you have, I don't know. I've never hit.
Ideally, you should. It's held under tension, all that porcelain. So it should just have that bing.
Hey, we're learning about
mobile moto
for you. Yeah, we're learning about mobile moto. He works in the medical device industry, and they make those pins. That's cool, dude. I got 2 of your pins in my foot right now. Jim says you've all been missed.
Moto's been inside you. All right. Speaking of that, our next story. No, just kidding. I want to say one last thing about F1 2023 streets of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
These prices are insane, and I can't afford to go. Indy is much cheaper, and I know they want to compete with F1, and I'd love to see them do that. But I'm being brutal. They're not even close. Like the entertainment value is not there. The cars aren't as awesome. Driver skill, maybe it's as good or better. I don't know. So we're talking about the 2023 streets of Las Vegas right now in 2022. Was Portland Indy this weekend or is it next weekend?
Oh, I'm out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's either right now or next weekend. I can't remember. I'm not going. So I'm just throwing that. That's probably I bet it's under $20 parking and me getting in there.
Yeah.
And
the corn dog will get you at $10.
No, the corn dog will be more than the ticket to get in. The beer for sure will be, and it's an hour. It's a hard hour. It might be an hour 15 for me to get there from my house.
Traffic withstanding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You can always get screwed by Portland traffic in case they have a street takedown or breakdown or whatever the fuck they're calling that bullshit.
Get a lady with a meth pipe to come out and like rob you on I-5. Hold you up at a homeless tent city that just popped up out of nowhere.
Well, guys, speaking of getting screwed in Portland, that is a perfect segue into our next article.
Roy, you're a drag racer, right?
I am a drag racer. Yeah. What are we going to?
And you guys know the app Grindr.
No, allegedly.
There's some drag stuff on there for sure, probably.
I think we're talking about different drag. But
are we?
Are we? Where's this going?
Maybe anymore? You are.
So we've got some interesting news. Grindr has sponsored, and as a matter of fact, this is the first race car driver that Grindr has ever sponsored. Young man by the name of Travis Schumacher. Very handsome young man, by the way. The statement from Grindr, actually the statement from Travis, as a gay man in America's oldest conservative motorsport, authentic representation matters. So there you go. And by the way, do you guys want to see the new livery on his car? I think it's pretty cool.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right. I just had to throw that in for yucks.
Yeah, at 280 miles an hour, the flying dick is on its way.
I'm okay with all this, except for so America's oldest conservative motorsport. What's the oldest progressive motorsport? Like, was drag racing?
It's
I see where you did that.
It's race walking.
Well, I didn't. Okay. I didn't know why is drag racing considered conservative? Hasn't it always been like the rebels and like World War II vets coming back to race alcohol fueled like insane people, jet car dragsters, quad engine, right? Like,
yeah.
Virtually every American motorsport is rooted in escaping the law in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Confused.
I don't know if you can call it a conservative sport. It was the big middle finger. It was people pushing back against the tyranny of the time, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, you have NASCAR, which has really taken this like forward movement. I'd say they're pretty progressive. Like there was the news scandal, the whole 9 yards.
Look,
They're really jumping on the forefront, and NHRA has just sat there and just been quiet the entire time.
I get that you can look at NASCAR as conservative. I wouldn't even call it conservative. It's just like fuck your sisters and stuff. Like it's you know it's deep south, whatever. But drag racing's like it's drag racing. I got it. I never saw that as a hillbilly sport or a conservative sport.
I'm just saying it all kind of fits. It all kind of fits because look at the shape of this dragster right here. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the long, thin portion in the front, and then you got the part that makes the noise, the part that really has the juice. You understand?
Gotcha.
And then you know you got these
Two big
back
meats
here
in the
that are-
back.
Good fat meats.
Yeah, big fat meats in the back that really
Little landing strip right above or wing right there on top above the horse. Yeah.
The whole thing to just slide you right
Little
into
Hitler
it.
stash. Andy, I know. Now, I'm not making fun of causes or things or people's here. As an amateur racer who has often wanted to be sponsored, and now that Grindr is a thing, a sponsor, like there's a whole new venue of like this will have other what's how do they say this LBQT plus following and stuff and then those kind of sponsorships that would advertise to that crowd, right?
Mhm.
How long before some middle of the road guys like I'm super gay and I have
He's
almost
in there and he's just power fist
I
like
have
this.
no
and drops it.
sponsorships, but I suck a ton of dick, bro. So much dick. Man, I wish I had enough money to race next season, but people just hate me for all this dick I chug. Like
I spend a lot of time in the pits, so I'm just gonna say that the phrase $20 is $20, man.
yeah, like,
If it comes down to you making that next race, dude, you got to do what you got to do.
well, yeah,
Get
I
on
mean
the
a race
wagon.
sponsor, dude. Okay. Let's boil this down. We're gonna distill this down. You ready, boys? This is easy. Pretend that you had a race car. Pretend that someone came to you and was like, "Hey, I want you to race for me, not just for a year, but for 5 years, and I'm gonna fund the whole thing." Consider it like a Klondike bar challenge. What would you do? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
yeah, it's the first thing that comes in your mouth as well.
I'm just saying, like, if somebody told me I'm going to make you into a race car driver, you're going to be fully sponsored. I'll provide the car. I'll provide everything else. It doesn't really matter what.
Pushed into a
Andy
corner.
would coyly bat his eyelashes like, I normally don't do this. I've never done this before. I goes, I know, I just barely met you.
Oh my God, this is my first time.
Robo Hoover 5,000 with the shaft of the balls gargle. They'd be like, what, your first time? Motherfucker, how many 5-year contracts have you had?
Bro, I would be subscribing to every magazine I possibly could. I'd be watching every video, like taking notes for the technique.
Yeah, Mobile brought up a good one. Bill Cosby funded Willie T. Ribs. That's totally true. Sadly Bill Cosby, it was kind of a hero gesture he did. Like, you actually read into all that, in hindsight, people are like, fuck that guy, but he basically just wrote him a blank check, which is pretty fucking cool. And I love Willie T. Ribs. I actually wanted to he drove a Celica, air quotes, for Dan Gurney's team for a while, and my MR2 I want to do the same livery. By same livery I mean the Toyota racing stripes and stuff. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of nerd shit there.
See, folks, I learned something too.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to learn something new right now. California has been doing some real weird stuff, boys. What are they?
You talking about the rainbow fentanyl again?
Well, there's that. They have decided that truckers, you can't be an independent trucker anymore. You have to be with a company. And so they're crippling their trucking industry over there. They have announced that if you have a well on your property, you now are government mandated to put a meter on it, and they want to start charging you for the water you're pulling out of your own well on your own property. And now, 5 days ago, California has said we are going to ban the sale of all new gas-powered cars by the year 2035. Now, there's a little bit of a step up to it. So they say by the year 2026, they want 33% of all vehicles sold to be non-emission vehicles. They said that by 2030, 66% of vehicles need to be non-emission vehicles. And then by 2035, all new vehicles sold in California are going to need to be electric. And I'm sure you have thoughts about that, and we'll get into that. However, the reason I'm bringing that up is to bring this up. 5 days later, California's heat wave threatens electric vehicles. They are literally telling people there's not enough power in the grid right now for you to have air conditioning and electric vehicles. We need you to shut your shit down.
I wish they could do something like you got to pick one. You can have AC tonight, or you can charge your car.
That's where it's headed.
That's where it's headed on the meter. You just flip it off, flip it on. AC, charge your car.
Can I give you my hot take on this real quick?
Go for it.
I'm so fucking stoked about this. It's not even funny. Like, I am so happy, and I hope it works out perfectly for them. But once they ban the sale of internal combustion engines there, the rest of us do not have to deal with the retarded carb standards. Okay? That means everybody else, Toyota, Nissan, Ford, Chevy, we can all just go, hey, we're going to go off federal emissions now and just take that shit straight back to Stone Age. And I'll be like, hey, look, it shoots fire from the factory. This is fucking awesome. This thing rolls coal. And California will be over there trying to charge their electric vehicle on a fucking bicycle in the evenings. So you can either ride your bike to work, or you can drive a car and use a bike to power it up in the evening. And I'm just be like, hey, remember how everybody catered to your stupid fucking carb standards till you then outlawed the sale of those vehicles in your state? Thank you. Thank you, California. Yes. This is my favorite thing you've done ever.
You guys, this is what
In-N-Out Burger.
As a small businessman here, I'm just going to see a capital venture movement here, because if they're selling only electric vehicles, those of us that live in Oregon, Nevada, Idaho, etc., we're in a reasonable zone to California. It's a jaunt, but it's not terrible.
Well, it's not reasonable distance. It's not reasonable local government. But
no. I meant reasonable distance. We are buying and selling internal combustion engines. I will black market you a car into California, so that way you can have an internal combustion car.
Oh,
I'll even put a new coat of paint on.
You'll register it in your name, and then your buddy in California will, air quotes, borrow it.
I'll just sell it to an Indian on the res and let them sell it to somebody in California. But I'm making the cut here. You see?
Yeah. I got you. You're kind of right? You're the middleman. Yeah, I got you. Right.
I'm the broker of a new car. And whether or not they want to register that vehicle, I don't really care. I'm just going to buy it from Craigslist or Marketplace, take it down there, bump the price up 200%, sell it to somebody on the North Californian border, and off they can go back into La La Land.
Like, we're talking about an actual, business venture here.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just going to throw this out there. We get ourselves a truck. Okay. Wait, not a truck, because you're not allowed to be an independent. We get ourselves a recreational vehicle of large size.
Does a corporation work? Saniam powder coating could be the corporation owner for semi trucks.
Yeah, you got to be careful though, because crossing state lines, they're in being a business that could get a little hairy.
Either way, I'm going to be way overweight, and so I'm going to be a recreational vehicle. I'm just saying, you're not going to want to roll what I got through the scales.
As long as there's a pooper on the fifth wheel plate, that's fine.
We fill that thing with lithium batteries. I mean, we're talking marathon, big bus, pusher diesel. Okay. And we just stack it full of lithium batteries. I pull her over here into Oregon, maybe out east. We charge the shit out of that, and I drive it down to California. I'm like, hey, bro, you need some electricity? Come over here. Come on. And I plug their car into this thing, charge them up. Now, this isn't the government sponsored 15 minutes of charging time you get between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. every day. Okay. Yeah. This is me in the Walmart parking lot just off the 5 saying, hey man, I'll give you 30 minutes of charge, $400. How many miles you need, bro? How far you need to go? I think it looks like a brick from here. I turn that back into a Tesla.
Bro, you're literally describing the plot of Fast and the Furious 10. So you remember in Fast and the Furious, what was it, 5 or 4, where they're chasing the gas truck down the road in Mexico? You're going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to be a truck that says like Samsung across the side, and you're chasing it down in your little EV Civics because you got to get the batteries.
Like you literally drive under it and plug in and then charge for a while. like one of those fucking remora fish that stick to sharks. I'm just saying I can go down there and maybe if when you run your Tesla out on the side of the road, it's either call a tow truck, pay him $600 to get you back to your house, or you call Coy in the RV to come charge up your car and smoke you out. I don't know. I have different packages.
If we could figure out how to run semi trucks, we could grab a military surplus 16V Detroit generator and just roll up and down the interstate. Batteries, we'll do on the fly charging. We'll get some magnetic disconnect. We'll just go to China and have them like upsize those magnetic iPhone chargers.
That way they can never catch us. We keep moving.
Right. You keep moving the whole time. That's 16 Detroit just flying in the background.
I
smoke rolling.
Honestly, I cannot wait to see the scene where one of the minor characters is wrapped up in a charge cable while you're doing 120 down the freeway. And then Vin Diesel screaming, "Cut the umbilicus! Cut the umbilicus! I am Groot!"
My favorite part of this is while I'm illegally selling electricity, if I'm going to be mobile like this and always moving, why not have a meth lab as well? It's California. I probably would be in less trouble for that anyways.
Fentanyl lab, though. Fentanyl lab.
Yeah. And then when it explodes, because lithium fire, obviously it's going to happen.
It has to.
And then I start Paradise 3.
Yeah.
Paradise 3, the heat is on. It'll be a pretty color.
So Mobile Moto brought up a couple of really good points, actually things that I was going to get to. He says not only do they not have enough power, but Lake Mead is nearly below safe levels for power generation. That's very true. He also kind of stole the words out of my mouth. 8 other states are following California into this abyss. It's somewhere between 8 and 15. There are states that basically have a pact with California. Not all of them, but New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, a whole bunch of others pretty much follow all of California's standards. And so there is an expectation for those states to announce that they've passed the same legislation. And that brings me to your thoughts once again about that. I mean, once we start seeing other states adopt this, whatever reasoning they may have, but you do know that it's going to happen because there's a certain number of states where they just go, if California's doing this, we're doing it too. Oregon's going to be one of them. Washington's going to be one of them. You guys live in Oregon. So hit me with some thoughts. Roy, you want to give us some thoughts here?
I'm not prepared, man.
Well, nobody's prepared. I'm going to throw this statistic out at you real quick.
I can't even just fathom the comprehension of that. Like,
well, so Roy, let me give you a little bit more context here. So California currently has 80,000 charging stations in the state. Okay. For them to actually be able to charge all of the vehicles that they're proposing, and it's something like 40% of vehicles by 2035 theoretically could be electric and on the road. They would need around 1.2 million charging stations is what their internal audits are telling them. That means
you said 80,000 to start with
is what they have, and they need 1.2 million. And what that means is that money. Right. So over the next 8 years, essentially, to get their plan at least in forward motion for the 2030, 66% of all new vehicles sold need to be electric. In order to kind of line themselves up with that, they need to start producing around 400 charging stations a day just to make sure that they have the infrastructure to hold up basically their end of this legislation. So now that you know that, give me some of your thoughts.
I am uniquely situated to give you some thoughts on the charging station. I've installed multiple of these. Not the wire. I do the installation of the conduit, the concrete slab, the pedestals, not the actual power. I don't touch anything hot. So it probably would take me on average, you're going to get power from a pole or a transformer. They usually, to keep costs down, they try and situate these not too far from one, within 100 feet. I could probably build and install most of these and have them ready for wire. I could probably do one a day, 2 days max. They're not real hard to put up. So when it comes out of the transformer, that then has to go to a meter. So from the transformer or pole to the meter, that's your local power company's stuff. So they need to inspect that and okay that. Then you put up a meter, and then you trench from there to the actual charging stations. Now this meter, it's private, bro. Now the county needs to inspect that. So we need to see that open. And then once that open, and after we've seen it and said, okay, your pipe's there, it's deep enough, now you can bury it and fill shit on top of it. So my 12 hours worth of work, average probably, some maybe 4, some maybe, 16. But on average, turns into a waiting game that takes like a week, 5 days probably on average to put one of these in. Because you're like, I wait for this inspection, then I gotta wait for the electrician. Now I'm gonna do the concrete and throw it all in, backfill it and clean it up myself. And then wire still has to go in this thing. That's somebody else's deal. I'm sure they have inspections. That's in Oregon. California, I'm not counting pulling permits. Like, I bet it takes a whole month to get one in California, just to the waiting game part of it. Like, it's insane.
Roy,
When I'm at my day job, we are installing one of these right now, and it has been a total disaster because we have a bunch of people that have decided that this is the one location.
and I'm sorry, one. You're just talking about one charging station.
One 2-lead charging station. And it has been in the planning for almost 3 months, apparently. I found out about it on Monday. I was told to go dig a hole to put a concrete pad so that way the unit could be on there. Granted, there was some, vid stuff and backlog, and they were like, oh, it's not going to be there for 9 months. And then all of a sudden it shows up in a week because they found one in a warehouse somewhere. So we got told, go put a pad up. For me, never having done one, just reading blueprints, looking at it, took me like half a day to put the pad in. I set up the concrete in the rest of the day, and then I came back a couple days later, put the unit on top of it, and then somebody came out from planning and decided that, did you guys find the power that was buried under there? And I looked at them with the statement of no, because I read the locate, and there's absolutely no power anywhere around here for 50 feet. And then they looked at me and said, but there should have been a power line there. I said, no, there's a low voltage line for landscape lighting, but that won't run your charging station. Oh, can you take it down then? Really? And this is at a very, intelligent location.
Mhm.
It shouldn't be that hard.
It's at a university, right?
Yeah.
We won't say which one, but
Yeah.
No, we're not going to say which one. Oregon has plenty of universities. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, you
It's
would
at a
think
university. People
would
that
think the
actually
college
study
boys-
this stuff.
Mhm.
And we have no concept of it. So for Koi, that it might take one day, I can tell you on the planning side of things, and then working with other city agencies, it's realistically to get one unit in probably 3 to 6 months.
yeah, if you're counting permits and
Now,
But-
you could scale that, right, by having a bunch of people. So we hire like 192,000 agents to come work for the state, and then they come through and do all this other, but they're busy doing other paperwork for other important things like auditing people.
Yeah.
right, like the IRS. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you brought that up. A little tidbit
Sorry,
for you.
I just couldn't hold back.
So people keep asking me, what's the big deal with the IRS? They're creating 87,000 jobs. Why do you have a problem with that? Because that's 87,000 jobs. That's twice as many positions as are are in total in the FBI. The IRS now has double the bodies of the FBI. They have 4 times the body of the Border Patrol. So you're going to tell me we don't need people for any of this other infrastructure bullshit that you're trying to force on us?
plus, bro, you know why I'm pissed about it? I've been cheating on my taxes for years. Like, of course I'm pissed.
I'm gonna get caught.
If you're a drug dealer and they hire more cops, you think you're happy?
I don't even use, so I do
I'm
my
running 4
taxes.
fake businesses over here.
I do my own taxes, but I don't use TurboTax. I use El TurboTax.
This podcast has lost money for years, and I was not cheating it. That's true.
Yeah, because
Hey, it's a hobby, not a business.
Really? Let me see your taxes, Andy.
Shh, boy.
Edit it.
It's a feature, not a fault. Okay.
Feature, not a fault.
And of course, Momomoto says they're doing none of this, which is 100% right. I mean, they're not doing anything that's really going to get this infrastructure in place. And by the way, they don't have the infrastructure anyways. We're seeing that. How long have we been screaming about this, Corey?
We can't even go into this because the show's already going long.
I know.
It's $400 a day just to get these in. You got to start building more. Like, we need fucking 12 more nuclear reactors in California to charge these fucking cars. I'm sorry. Like, or else you got to come out with some cold fusion or something and then build the power. Like, it's just insane. We have an aging infrastructure. I work in power and gas infrastructure. It's shit's going bad all the time. Like, they're not reinvesting in it. They're trying to pull a profit, and shit's old. And especially when you start trying to electrify commercial vehicles, you know, the amount of power it takes to pull 108,000 pounds of fucking freight down the road. It's an insane amount.
Well, once you get off a rolling start, you know, then it goes down drastically.
Yeah. Well, there's no big hills in California. Grapevine or anything.
All right. So you're right, Coy. We could go on about this forever, but I actually, you know what? You got a good point, because I really want you to tell me about this OLAF you've got. Let's get into it, bud. Overland is fucked.
All right, man. What we got here today is the world's lightest 3/8 ratchet. It's on Indiegogo. They're getting the money made, put together to build these sweet motherfuckers. These things are insane. You see in the picture of these, Andy?
I am. Okay. I'm not trying to be a hater. It's a titanium and a carbon fiber ultralight ratchet driver.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. That is sweet. I mean, if this thing had a Snap-on logo on it, I would expect it to be $15,000. The MSRP would be like $900, but by the time you were done with your payments, you'd pay $15,000 for it, you know?
Yeah.
However, what I want from this segment is for you to convince me that I need this, Coy.
Well, this is easy. Hey, Roy, what kind of bike did you buy recently?
A KTM.
Yeah. What?
1190. It's a enduro kind of bike.
Oh yeah, I bet you love riding that thing off.
I do.
Mountains and stuff. You take a full toolkit on there?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. You don't, do you?
No.
Why is that?
Because I can't carry that much shit.
That's right. It's too heavy.
Huh. Yeah.
I
need the bare minimum.
If only there was a fucking ratchet that also doubled as a screwdriver.
Oh shit.
That was made out of carbon fucking fiber.
Really?
And titanium.
No.
That was under $200.
Fucking take my money right now.
And you could just keep that on the bike.
Yes, every time.
You can fix shit if it broke, because
I would
who
carry
the
it in my
fuck knows
pocket.
where you're at? You're up in the mountains, dude. Just you look around and you're like, there's a fire pond.
We could pop
there's
tires
trees
all the time.
That bald eagle's raping a crow. I don't even feel safe here right now.
Ratchet in hand.
And then you pull out that sweet carbon fiber and titanium ratchet.
Oh my god, I'm gonna need some alone time here.
Wow.
What do you think, Andy? Are you ready for one of these yet?
I think I'm sold. I think I'm 100% sold. This is by a company called TRO Designs. And of course, they call it the Superleggera. Superleggera, of course, is Italian for super light. Anytime like a Porsche or Lamborghini says Superleggera, here's what you know. There's two things you're going to know. One, it will have zero creature comforts. It won't have AC. It won't have door locks. It won't have AC. It won't have, some of these, they go from 2 windshield wipers down to 1. So that's the first thing you know.
Premium for it.
The second thing is what you just said, Roy. What'd you say?
A fucking premium. A premium for the ultralight with no options.
Every single pound removed from that car, multiply by $100.
Just saying, if you didn't have the money to buy that car, that carbon fiber that's on there would be is drier than that would be girlfriend's pussy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We don't resin bathe this fucking fabric, bro. We impregnate. You know what I'm saying? They have the stubby and the Superleggera flex head ratchet, which is, it's not stubby. I wouldn't say long. Also in the base of these things has a hex drive to put in a screwdriver or whatever.
Coy, I think what you mean
you
is
want there.
their options are average and then above average.
Yeah, I would say average, and it's not the size that matters. It's how you use it is what I would call those.
Overseas
How you use it
clientele.
and almost average. Or you can get both for the price of $225. It only comes with one titanium head that you put on either handle. $188 for the flex head standard, and the stubby is $169.
If this head is worth anything, I'll have to have one because I don't have a lot, but
You've paid way more than $200 for head before, right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. I gotta go
I
home
didn't know
to
they
it.
had that kind of. I didn't know they had that kind of professionalism in Staten. I had no idea.
You got to travel.
Yeah, you're not getting it in Staten, but you're getting it near a university for sure.
So listen, boys, this has a couple of. I mean, it's lightweight. That's great, but other advantages are it has a super small head, really meant for getting into tight spaces. Wow, I really can't. There's no way of describing these ratchets without going.
Taking the jokes aside, though, that is one of the biggest problems when you are actually working on
when your head's too big. Yeah,
when you can't get in there.
I've heard that's a terrible problem.
She just wants you to slide it right in, and if you have the small little pecker head on there, it just needles its way right to the end.
Yeah, it's true. You don't want to be sitting here trying to fix your bike doing nothing but outer course.
Exactly. I want the inner course. I want it deep. I want to be able to get inside that clutch basket, use that screwdriver, pop that ring out, put it back together, and be on the trail.
Full throttle, get home, take a nap. Yep.
Wop, wop, wop.
But that's the beauty of the carbon fiber. It is stiff.
Totally hard. I can really lean into it. Just kind of back up and sit on it with my future drag racing app there.
Yeah. Man.
Jake Jaden says when metal prices go through the roof, this ratchet set will be your retirement. Hey, not a bad way to go. Maybe this will. Well, this could be a collector's item. I could see that. Mobile Moto says if you're married, you pay and you pay and you pay, and this is probably no different, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, this you only pay once.
Here's a comparison. They're showing it to a Gear Wrench Slim, and I know that the Gear Wrench sets are not cheap. I actually have a Gear Wrench set of ratchets and ratcheting wrenches, and they were not cheap at all. They're good quality, but man, they were expensive, real expensive. More money than I would ever spend on myself. I got them as a gift. And you can see how much smaller and thinner the head is on this ratchet. So that is definitely one thing I'm going to say about this. I mean, this is, as long as you're getting the same number of clicks, the micro gears inside.
Does it give a number count to the actual head?
I haven't seen it yet.
Snap-on is 80, and it does make a difference when you're actually turning wrenches.
It does. It really does.
This is a real stubby unit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stubby and thin. It's narrow and short.
Listen, it may not be long, but at least it's narrow.
May not touch the bottom, but it won't touch the sides either. I think this is overland as fuck. $160 to $200, $188 ratchet.
Yeah.
I know overlanders are known as the overweighters because they put in 10,000 pounds more than their vehicle's weight limit inside and take it everywhere. But sometimes, that's why we switched to synthetic lines, synthetic shackles. And now we can switch to something else a little lighter, and that's a ratchet.
I feel like we can certify this as a certified OLAF, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 110%.
We have full consensus. Let us know what you think down in the comments, but I think for your money, this is full-on certified OLAF. Overlanded! And that only leaves one segment left for you guys, which is good because, man, this episode's going long.
What you got to drive in 10 years down to California after the solar eruption that takes out all the power and stuff. You jump in this sweet motherfucking International Come and Swap Scout.
Oh, here, hold on. We're gonna go into it.
Smokin Deal or Smokin Adobe.
There you go, Koi.
Yeah.
Oh, and I do want to mention
I
right
jumped the gun on the bit that we've only been doing for years.
well, and
Premature.
before we jump, it was a premature revelation. It's fine.
Yeah.
So this was submitted to us by Vincent, friend, listener. Love you, Vincent. Thank you so much. And I want to encourage you guys out there, when you see stuff like this, if you think we would find it interesting, if it's something you want to see us talk about on the show, do send it our way, because we do see those. We do throw them up on the show, and we appreciate it, by the way. We always try to incorporate anything that the listeners send to us, our friends, our family, whatever. Will help. You're all friends and family here. You know that. So yes, I'm sorry, Koi, I interrupted you. What do we got here, buddy?
We got ourselves a 1978 Scout 2, one owner, body mounted on a 1999 Dodge Cummins turbo diesel, 5-speed complete chassis. So he got himself a 99 Cummins turbo diesel, took this body and put it on that frame. And it's a, what'd you say, a desert tan, coyote, light tan color, kind of, FDE kind of color.
It's not desert tan like your FJ. It's a little lighter than that.
Yeah, and it's
a tan and beige.
It's a tan Line-X paint job. So, not my favorite, but durable and resists scratches, and actually really helps. Having that Line-X there actually makes it a lot less more dent resistant. Flat desert earth. It's a flat. Anyways, 20-inch black Rhino wheels. Not a fan of those wheels, but 35-inch tires. Cummins 24 valve off-road bumper. 12,000-pound winch. Front clip is stretched.
From Warren.
Yep.
Shout out to our friend Andy Lilienthal.
Yep. The front clip is stretched, and the custom dash is Cerakoted dark gray. Blah blah blah. Why don't you go ahead and snap us through some pictures there, Andy?
Man, I think this thing is cool as hell looking. I got to be honest with you. They've got like custom bumpers front and rear, which normally I don't think twice about, but they look really tough on this unit. I forgot that the International Scouts, they had the full swing up door in the back like a minivan, which I always liked, because, man, you just get full access to that back. This is a 2-door.
I wonder how many people had traumatic or the football player brain injuries from getting insane concussions when those shocks went out.
Ooh, that's a good question. Now, I've never had my dome ring with one of those, but I have had several brain injuries, so I'm with it. I get what you're saying.
As a small child, I used to hop on the back of our Ford Explorer and grab the pole handle and ride it down at the grocery store until one day I knocked my mom out in the parking lot doing that.
Nice. Good
To be
job.
fair, you're a big guy, and your mom's, I mean, I feel like you're overstating it. Like she's small.
I was only 15 doing that.
Yeah, she seems like she could be easily knocked out, though.
I've got this mental image now of Roy like getting something out of the fridge and then going to close the door and it won't close, and he's trying to slam it shut, and then looks down and goes, "Oh, sorry, Mom."
I said name brand Lucky Charms, not this Lucky Irishman bullshit. Boom.
We went from "Don't touch me, Lucky Charms" to whatever the fuck, I don't care. They're not real Luck Charms anyways. Jim says, "Wow, with the diesel setup, interesting. I'm thinking okay." He threw a number out. Jim, you know how this works. You've already thrown your number out. We'll get to it, buddy. So hang out, but I'm not going to reveal numbers just yet. Momomoto says he used his Warren winch for the first time last weekend. That is awesome. Awesome sauce, dude. I'm so glad to hear that you're helping someone that we really like, a brand that we really like. Warren, give us a sponsorship, man.
Yeah, using the winch can be an awesome thing, or it could have been the worst night of your life too. You never can go both ways. I've been on both sides of that coin. It's a fucked up coin. So what do you think about this, Andy? I mean, this is pretty cool, pretty unique rig. And I got to say to you, I've seen this in person, this vehicle. I'm almost certain.
Really?
Yeah. So whoever is selling this works in Wilsonville somewhere, or else this exact fucking rig A couple months ago, I saw it in the parking lot and whipped over and looked at it. I didn't get out of the truck. I just drove up and read the sign. It was a Cummins Scout, like in same color, same everything. So it looks pretty good in person. Like I've actually seen this.
So it's not a total claptrap.
No, I'm not a huge fan of the Rhino liner paint job. To me, if this had a real, the body had been done in real paint, it had been a total repaint, I would straight up, I'd just be like, it's a deal. Like we're done here. So the price he's asking, 35. That's a lot of money. I'll say that right now. This thing looks really good. What is a 99 turbo Cummins diesel run? What does that cost someone right now? It says, by the way, 115,000. So turbo Cummins diesel, 1999 with 150,000 on it. What do you think that cost?
I just looked at one sitting at 350,000, 14.5 in our area.
Yeah. So
I would bet you money that with 115,000 miles on it, he would be asking 25 to 27,000 and probably would get it because I mean prices are just insane right now.
That makes this, I mean, this is a lot of money, or like $35,000 Scout. Like, okay, let me throw it this way. If this was a Bronco, the first gen, what is it, 64 to 77, first gen Bronco, which I know is smaller than these. But if it was on something like this, frame and shortened, what do you think that would be worth? With just first number out of your mouth, a restored first gen Bronco.
With the Cummins swap?
Yeah, just like they shortened the frame on a 99, 115,000.
I want to say 42,000.
Yeah. My first number was 55 in my head.
Okay.
But like you wouldn't even sure, I wouldn't buy it, but I'd just be like, oh, fuck, there you go. Yeah, those Broncos are going crazy in price, even though this is just a body. So yeah, so it's 40K. I'm just saying, yeah, 40K for a restored regular one for one on a diesel frame. I don't know if that makes it worth more or less, but
and Scouts alone are going for big money too.
They're going up in value.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think his price at first, when I first saw the price, I'm like, well, he's fucking insane. But yeah.
And the front clip extension to fit the Cummins motor in it, phenomenal. I mean, from the bedliner look right here, it might have 10 pounds of Bondo underneath it, but it looks really good from this angle.
You can hardly tell it was stretched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to throw my prices out here. Is this worth it? Number one.
Well, hold on. Do you want to do yours, or do you want to let Roy go first?
Yeah, let's let Roy go. Yeah,
Roy's the guest. It would make sense to let him go first, but also
copy off my homework, little fucking cheater.
And if Roy is completely off base, then we can just mercilessly make fun of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So which price do you want out of me right now?
Well, so first, Roy, give us the price you think this is going to sell for. And then your second price is what you would pay for it personally. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, if you tell us $500, it's fine. But first start with what you think someone's going to pay for this.
I think they're going to get some dickering room, and you'll probably get in at like 32,000. I don't think that's going to move too much from where it's at. You have a lot of pros to it. There's a yuppie that wants to buy a GX 480 or whatever the heck they are, Lexus, on knobbies, and the wife's like, but I like that, and they want to be green, and they don't want to promote anything else, so they're going to buy a diesel because their dad's really conservative, and they're trying to like earn their dad's appreciation still, but yet live in Portland. This is where they're going to end up at. They're going to end up buying that Lexus anyways because the wife's going to hate it, but they're going to buy this. They have the money. The dicker room comes from the dad that comes along to check out the Cummins motor. 32,000 probably.
And I just want to remind everybody in the comments, Mobile Moto's throwing some numbers out, but Mobile Moto, let us know what you think that someone else, not you, is going to be willing to pay for this vehicle. Just a quick reminder there. Jim Clack, you're in the comments too. Let us know what you think it's going to go for, because we've already heard your personal number. Yeah, sorry, Roy, go ahead.
No, and you want my personal number right now? I dig this. I'm a Scout guy. I don't know much about them. I enjoy them a lot, though. I like first gen Scouts the most. I know that the second gen Scout, the Scout 2 is what this is, did come with a diesel in them, actually, originally. They weren't powerhouses. They got the job done. They're pretty neat.
They were naturally aspirated 7.3s, weren't they?
No. They had a 6-cylinder diesel, and I want to say that it was a Nissan collaboration. I want to say they're the SD33 that was in there, and the comment's going to flame me for this, but I'm pretty sure it was the SD33 that was in that.
Yeah, I'm not even. I have no fucking clue.
But it's an international product. I don't remember when the pair up was between International and Ford. I don't know in the 70s. I'm pretty sure not in the 70s at that point, but I know the tractor side had combined. So they were not great, but they were decent for what they were. The combo for me, all in all, I don't know, 10,000. I'm kind of being generous because there's a wild hair at my ass that would just go say, fuck it, I'm going to buy it. Especially if the guy wanted to trade straight across for an MR2 turbo.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Coy, where are you landing?
This is a cool rig. I do like it. I have zero need for it. Now, my main dig at this is if we just hit this with real paint instead of Line X, you're going to get this price all day. That Line X paint really does detract some for me. I think he's going to get the exact same going price of as if this were still a Dodge turbo pickup or turbo Cummins and a 5-speed, that's the 110 or 115,000. He's getting high 20s for that all day. I think it's going to sell right in there. So I'm going to say this is going to sell for 20, 29, just because I know this has been for sale for a little while. Prices are high and stuff, but man, that Line X just kills me.
But you are on the upside. This is the Dodge frame, the 2500 frame, correct?
Yes.
So you have the tow capacity out of it.
This thing's a beast. You could tow your boat to the lake. Yeah, like you can do some shit with it.
Your tag, bumper pulled, toy hauler. I mean, you have a lot of options.
Can you imagine just with like a monster toy hauler hooked to your Scout?
39 feet.
Rolling black coals, burning into the dunes. Like you're just on the flats looking for a spot, just sand flying and people just like, no fucking way. So
this and me, I'd be screw turned all the way to the max, rolling up 20, just coming up through the S curves before you get to Hoodoo, rolling black coal on some shitty ass Prius that can barely make it up there.
Yeah, like especially if you have turn this thing up.
I'm going to throw this out there for you guys. This is body swapped, but because the VIN numbers on the dashboard are now a 78 International Scout, does that make this what's it called, EPA exempt?
In a black hole, yes.
Well, I mean,
no, in Oregon. I'm talking about Oregon. Like it,
in 1999, this thing is like 1 year from being 25 years old. So, or 2 years. So, I mean, it's going to be exempt from everything in 10 minutes anyways.
As far as the DMV is concerned, that's a Scout too.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be completely. And in Portland, it would be then still exempt.
Yeah, so I know for like DEQ and stuff locally, 25 years old, I believe is the cutoff before you're a classic. So
yeah, Mobile Moto is saying 1974, or the rolling 25-year schedule. So I think you're both right. Either Coy, you're right that in 2 more years it's going to be DEQ exempt, or Roy, you're right, they're going to view this and just say, oh, it's an International Scout. Because I mean, listen, we've all been to the DMV, we've all had them check our VIN numbers.
It's a kit car. Yeah,
it's a kit car. It's a 35 Plymouth. It's a kit car,
dude. The fat old lady or the super tall skinny dude with autism comes walking out the door and just he scrolls down your VIN number and then goes back inside, and they're both pissed off about life. They have these government jobs that pay them way too much for doing way too little, and they're very angry when they have to do anything. And so I don't think they're really going to be paying attention. I'm kind of more on the side of you, Roy, where I think they're just going to be like, now, fuck, this guy wants me to go out and check his car. And then they're going to go out and just be like, what the fuck is this? And you're going to go, 78 Scout. I've got a title for it. And they're just gonna be like, whatever the fuck ever, get out of here. I don't want to see you, get out. We close at 5, but we shut everything down at 4:30 because we don't want to say oh. So I think, Roy, honestly, I think you're right. I think that you'd be able to sneak this past, but that's just my feeling. DMV,
you could get that new guy. DMV's got a lot of turnover right now. They're hiring like crazy, like the IRS. You could get that new kid. When I took my motorcycle in to get tags on it, I walked in there and all of a sudden I had a brand new best friend for the enduro world. He was like, oh my God, that's a KTM 1190. I have a buddy that knows a guy that has a friend, and I have a 125, and we go ride enduros. And he was sitting out there in the parking lot, and I thought he was going to make me lunch or something, or at least give me a hand job. You know, DMV out here is getting wild. I don't know what it is over there.
I don't know about your guys' DMVs, but the DMV local to me, I went there and then they just had a sign on the door. It's like, yeah, due to employment issues, we're fucking closed. And I guess they sent all their employees to like the Salem DMVs, and we're like, hey, these little towns have their own DMV. Fuck them.
It's seasonal.
Just because their shit shows up to work, we're just gonna pull those for our guy. Yeah, so it's not getting wild where I'm at. They fucking close.
We're so
wild.
We're so far off in the weeds, boys. Coy, so you figure? I mean, what's your sell number?
He's going to sell this for 29 all day long. If this number started with a 2, I'm like, he's for sure going to sell it. This 35, and I keep thinking it's worth it, but I have to remind myself this is not paint. This is Line X. For me, that detracts. Maybe not for everybody, but I'm going to say 29. 29.5 is what it's going to sell for. Now, if this is sitting in my neighbor's yard, and I walk over there, I'm like, all right, I have to have it for this price. Oh, it's a tough one for me because I do kind of like it, but I also have no use for it. And I run this through my own thing. Well, I could tow with it, but it's like, I have a truck. What my wife's going to tow cows to the auction with this thing? Like, what are we doing here? She could. It'd be awesome and weird, but
she'd get hit on a lot more.
If this was sitting at my neighbor's for 15, I couldn't walk away from it. I just feel like, look, I have to have it for 15, right? Like, because I know I could resell it for more.
Right. Yeah. You call me up. Like, we take all at Line X off. We get the, Earl Scheib paint down at Napa. We squirt it on there, buff it out a little bit. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. I mean, at 15, like, hey, that's like 3 months of work. Like, I can just keep it, It's just a 3 months time period in my life in slavery that I didn't want to be there or enjoy at all, that I trade for this.
Surfing.
And that's 3 months of my life is what I'm willing to do here.
It's so funny you bring that up because, I mean, normally Coy and I are smack on the money together. I'm going to vary just a little bit, and then we're going to get into some of the listeners' comments. I'm saying, here's my personal opinion. I think he's already been offered 30 and he's turned it down, because I think 30 would be an appropriate price for this. And I think somebody would have bought it. It's been on the market for 6 weeks, which I'm surprised by. Especially up there.
I saw it a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. So it's probably been up and down. Okay. Yeah. So it's been for sale for a while. I have a feeling the owner's just not really wanting to budge that much, but I do think at a certain point, someone is going to walk away from this whole deal with this for around 30. I'm going to go 30. You're right. If it started with the 2, it'd be sold, but I'm going to go 30,000. I think if somebody just rolled up and said, hey, I've got 30,000 cash, will you take it? Eventually, after he's been worn down, he will take it. My personal number, I have no need for this. I have no reason to buy this. I don't even have the money to afford it. But if I was in the market for one of these, I think I would go 20,000 all day long. It's just a little bit less than what a Cummins pickup would be worth. It's a little more than what a project vehicle is worth. This doesn't look like a project to me. Of course, we're making the assumption that it's not a total claptrap, and I'm going to assume that it's not. It looks pretty well built from the photos. I think I would give him 18 for this. That's me personally.
Wow, you went higher than me on this one. That's
I did.
That's an odd take for you.
Well,
I like Mobile Moto's comment. You should do an Adam Carolla, who the F sells this as, and call these guys and ask them what they sold it for after the fact. We have talked about doing similar things to that. As it turns out, people trying to sell stuff do not like it when you call them and talk about how their shit's not worth near what they're asking for.
Yeah,
They're a little on the defensive side, even if you're just being open and honest. So we've kind of played with that idea. Just we don't have the clout to make it work. People just get pissed and hang up.
I've been closed and dishonest with people where I'm like, yeah, we think your car is interesting. We want to feature it on the podcast. And I get blocked. So, I mean, it's not, no, people don't want us tearing into their shit.
No,
we're not big enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, we don't have the clout to really make that work, even though it is a great idea. And hope someday I can do that.
All right. I got to go back up through the comments. Wow. We're getting a lot of comments through here. Jim Clack says closer to 20,000 for the shape it's in. So that's what he's thinking that this is going to sell for. Mobile Moto coming in super low. Mobile Moto is like you, Roy. He wants those deals, man.
Oh, absolutely.
10,000 for a running Cummins in a Dodge Rapper.
I can tell this guy. He's all right.
Well, I mean, I agree with that price. Like for me personally, but I mean, find me a running Cummins in an actual Dodge Rapper for 10,000. Like this is a 5-speed too. This isn't the automatic. Like that's another $3,000 right there. Just get a 5-speed.
I agree, but Mobile Moto is saying, not knowing the quality of work, no more than the donor, $12,000. That's his bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all this is kind of you got to kind of just go off face value. If I actually went and looked at this, I would be in 4-wheel drive, crawling around underneath this, checking everything out, asking for build pics, all kinds of stuff. But we just kind of do these at face value for fun. So,
yep, I agree. So
it's a great car.
We've got some thoughts in here, but I want to remind everybody, this is a Smokin' Dealer smoking a doob, and this is just our opinion. Do you know for a fact it's a deal? Do you know for a fact that it's a doob? We want to hear from you. We want you to share that. Hit us in the comments. Let us know. Send a message our way. Tell us, hey, man, that last car you reviewed, that thing is an absolute deal. You should run out and buy it right now. Or, no, man, I know that car. It is an absolute pile of crap. Do let us know. That's what we always love to hear from you guys. But for right now, that is our Smokin' Dealer Smoking a Doob.
Smokin' Deal or Smokin' a Doobie.
And coming in late, man, Darwin Bonk, one of our favorite people to join us in the comments. He's late. He's been yard sailing, and he's about to throw a pork shoulder on the smoker. And I say, Darwin, do it. Smoke it up. Make sure that you throw us a picture in the group. We want to see it. Every man loves his meat. We've learned that in this episode.
Absolutely. 100%.
Who knows? Maybe Darwin could get sponsored by Grindr.
Or a meat grinder, at least.
Or a meat grinder. Listen, boys, total, just like mind-blowing episode. There's been so much stuff going on. The whole world's on fire, and we are just warming our hands. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been such a whirlwind. Everything going on in the automotive industry is just crazy. The whole world feels like it's turned up on its end, but you know what's not turned up on its end is you guys, the listeners. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Thank you for telling a friend about it. It really is what keeps us going. You know, Coy and I, we do this as a hobby. We love doing it. It's a good way for us to keep in contact with our friends and make a few new friends. And we appreciate that. If you ever want to, or if you ever feel the want to go out and give us a review on iTunes, Spotify, hell, even facebook.com/thehorsepowerhour. If you want to throw us a review, that would make our months. Seriously, you know how little men get compliments. If you wanted to come on and tell us, hey man, your podcast is all right, we would cherish that. That would literally be my Christmas and birthday present wrapped into one.
Bro, just so the listeners know, about 9 months ago, in the dead of winter, I was carrying a large piece of drill tooling on my shoulder at work up the road. We had flaggers. This flagger sees me. It's raining. I got rain dripping off of me. I'm carrying this. I probably did look pretty cool, I'll admit. I mean, for a fat guy. This lady, I don't know what kind of poor decision she made in life. She looked like she was 75 to 100 as a flagger. She seems sweet, but I mean, flaggers, they're flaggers for a reason.
Keep her away from bath mats.
I kind of walked up behind her, and this old lady turns around and just goes, "Oh, my Lord." You come walking up that hill, you look like a knight in shining armor. I said thank you, and I think about that almost every day. Almost every day. It's the nicest thing someone said to me since I turned 15. So just leave me a fucking review, dude. Like, Jesus, like I have such low standards. Come on, say something nice to me. Doesn't really say something okay to me.
And if it is a dumpster fire, I'll bring the marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate and watch this whole thing burn.
I'm dead inside. Something mean won't hurt me. I'm totally fine with that as well. Like, but or just say something medium, like acknowledge me, and I'm like, oh, whoa. I'll think about it for 4 years.
Hey, speaking of Roy, let everybody know where they can find you, man.
On Facebook as Sandy Am Powder Coating. We still occasionally post some stuff up there. I'm also on Facebook if you want to follow me, Roy Tollefson there. And yeah, you can watch some neat pictures about trains. I'm a big train nut. I comment commonly on there. Also the Instagram Tollefson 500. That's where I put all my car stuff on. And you'll catch a lot of the drag racing actually on there as well. So
Hell yeah, buddy. Mobile Moto sliding in right at the end. Between the two of them, they have a full head of hair.
thank you.
You know it, buddy. You know it, buddy.
Full
I
head
love
of hairs. When you get down to few enough hairs, you pluralize it. Actually, it's a little known fact.
I was just hiding under a hat because I'm embarrassed. So
If I had all my hair, I would go get a haircut. At the stage I'm now, I go get my hairs cut. See how that works? Like it's weird. The fewer you get, the more you pluralize the word hairs.
What a strange way to end an automotive podcast, but there you go. Listen, everybody, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend about the podcast. Coy, love you, man. Everybody, you can find Coy over at facebook.com/the horsepower hour. Join the group if you want to come and check out some cool stuff that's going on. Always posting, always having a good time over there. Everybody's interacting, everybody's commenting. It's facebook.com/group/the horsepower hour. Instagram is at the horsepower hour. TikTok is at the horsepower hour. So, Roy, once again, thank you so much for being our guest. I appreciate you, man.
thank you.
And Coy, thank you, my friend. And for Coy Forticus and Masterson, Junior Senior Esquire, Duke of Earl Grey, and for Roy from Sandy Am Powder Coating, this is Andy. We will see you next time.